The White Bear Area Chamber of Commerce and SCC TV are proud to present Your Business Matters, dedicated to your business needs. The White Bear Area Chamber is a nonprofit business organization serving as advocates to the White Bear area and its business community. Now, here's the Executive Director of the White Bear Area Chamber and the host of Your Business Matters, Tom Snell.
Welcome to Your Business Matters, brought to you by the White Bear Area Chamber of Commerce. Each month, we interview community leaders and local business owners so you can be informed about the developments in our community. I'm pleased to welcome Mike Brooks, representing Lake Links Association. Mike is a Ramsey County Chair of Lake Links. We will discuss the exciting developments to establish a series of bike trails that will link several of our northeast suburban communities. Mike, thank you for joining us today on Your Business Matters.
Thanks, Tom. Good to see you.
Lake Links Association. I want to start right away by asking you, what is it?
Well, Lake Links Association is a kind of a blending of people from Ramsey County, Washington County. We're residents, we're decision makers, local. As you know, we got some bonding money, and so
we'll go into that. But so you got some money, but we'll go into that a little bit. But.
Well, let's just call it a coalition of people from the two counties who are interested in seeing this trail completed around the lake.
And the trail is for bicycles, right?
Well, the trail itself is for anybody who would be walking, biking, running, anything like that. And let's make a distinction here. It's really a route. As we have a trail on Lake Avenue that's a separated trail, this is a combination of separated trails and roads and facilities of that sort.
Okay, when you say separated trails, so when I envision this scenario that you brought up, I think about some a trail that would be autonomous from the road system and everything else. Is that what the ultimate objective is that you have for this project? It
would be great if we could do that, but what we have to do is we have to work with what we can get away with. So as we have in Lake Avenue, we have a separated trail on Highway 96 going around the lake.
Okay, yes.
We're kind of on the shoulder. Now we're looking at that to see if there's some additional right-of-way or what we can do. MnDOT is doing a review of the right-of-way on 244, which would then create a separated facility. When you go through Birchwood, we're essentially in quiet streets.
Right.
And South Shore is being surveyed for right-of-way, and that would also have a separated trail going down to Old White Bear Avenue, which will eventually be separated. So a majority of the lake will have a separated trail.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's really good. That'll be helpful for the people that use that opportunity.
People really prefer a separated trail. There's a kind of a rule that's called 8 to 80. If people 8 years old and 80 years old feel safe, well, then pretty much anybody's going to use it. And that's kind of what we're striving for.
Wonderful. Now, when the Lake Links Association asked you what it is, and you kind of explained it. It's this organization, a grassroots organization of folks in Ramsey and Washington County that are looking to create this series of trails that could be used for walking and biking and pedestrian use along the various corridors. Now, give me a little bit of a historical background of the Lake Links Association. What spurred its development? Who are some of the people that started it, and how long has it been around?
Okay, the Lake Links Association, as we know it, is really only about 4 or 5 months old.
Really?
Oh, it's not very old at all. And essentially what you have is a confluence of work that perhaps was being done on the White Bear Lake side by like Northeast Community Bike Walks, and then on the Washington County side by Matamida Area Green Initiative. And there is the Washington chair, or Washington County chair, Steve Wohlgemuth, who is very, very involved in trying to create a safe environment for biking. Well, all of these things kind of came together through Magi. And what came out of it was Lake Links.
Oh, okay. That's so the organization's been around for just a little bit of time. It's bringing together these people, these different groups, into a comprehensive approach to looking at the linkage for bikes and pedestrians then.
Right. It's really kind of dusting off an old plan. As we were chatting a little bit before,
Yes.
you go back to 1999, money was provided in the legislature, $175,000 to create a plan.
Really?
Which was the Lake
Okay.
Links Network Plan, and that came online. The date on it is actually 2001. And if your viewers would like to see that plan, if you go to the White Bear Lake City Hall
Sure.
website, I asked them to put that plan online a few years ago. There's on the left-hand side. There's plans and things. You can view the whole plan.
There's a plan then for the trails and pedestrian right-of-ways around the lake and the area, right? That was developed in the late 90s.
The late 90s, and you can actually go back further. You can go back to the mid-1990s.
Yeah.
The city of White Bear Lake actually received $620,000 from the Met Council, what was called the Transportation Advisory Board, to complete what was called the Burlington Northern Trail, we now call the Vento Trail. That money never transferred to White Bear Lake, apparently, because the trail never got completed.
So that was money that was earmarked, but we didn't get it.
Yeah, and once again, it's a railroad thing. We were chatting before about the railroad. A lot of times I think people thought that when it came to that piece of real estate, it was either bikes or it was trains, right? And it's not really necessarily the case, but back then that's the way
Yeah.
they thought. It had to be one of the, we don't think that way anymore.
We want them to use it, everybody to use it.
We want everybody to use it.
Absolutely, yep.
But certain deals couldn't be put in place at the time. So this project, like Lake Links that we're working on, literally has sat for almost
Sure.
2 decades.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you received some money from the legislature for Lake Links. How much was that again?
$255,000.
And what is that money to be used for?
That's what would be used for what we call preliminary engineering. Now, there is a part of it that's a little bit more than that, so let's break it down.
Okay.
$130,000 is going to be a grant to the city of White Bear Lake. And the way this money is paid is that people do the work and then they're reimbursed.
So this is like an engineering study then, right?
In White Bear Lake's case, it's a little bit more than that. It's not
Okay.
only design, but it also helps fund the completion of a trail, an extension of the current trail, which is a separated one, from Lions Park to South Shore.
Okay.
That was money they were having to apply for a grant with the DNR for a local trail grant.
The Department of Natural Resources,
Department
which
of
is
Natural
the
Resources.
DNR.
Now they
Okay.
don't have to do that. So the plan on that one is to get it designed and engineered and in place by next year. So by the
Okay.
end of next year. Now $50,000 is going to be earmarked to go to Ramsey County because we would go from, say, White Bear Avenue up to County Road F. Okay?
Sure.
And that would be considered the South Shore side of it. And that also includes White Bear Lake and Township because, at Bel Air, when you cross Bel Air, it becomes Township.
Yes. So now you've got this money, and this is this a first stage?
Yes.
That you would look at? So
Yes.
it'd be for some an engineering study, and then for some it goes a little bit beyond that.
Only on the White Bear side. The rest of it is to do analysis of right-of-way and any other kind of what you would call pre-project analysis of the area.
And are citizens going to be involved when you look at? When you say the word right-of-way?
Correct.
That means that there's going to be different traffic patterns and potentially that are part of that scenario. So I was wondering if there's going to be an opportunity for people to get together as this project progresses to take a look at what is going to happen with the various roadway systems.
That's always our hope. We always lean on the side of public involvement.
Okay.
And we encourage counties and communities to be open and to involve the public. So I think what you'll see in most of this is that you're going to have different phases to it. So you're going to get like an analysis of how much right-of-way, which means public right-of-way.
Right.
This isn't about taking land away from people.
Okay.
This is about saying, and most of this trail, what is the public right-of-way? What is actually available to use for this trail? And when they make that analysis, and they can have a public meeting to say, as you were talking about traffic patterns, some people were saying, well, should South Shore be one way? I know
Right.
a lot of people are completely dead set against it. That's what this analysis would be
Yeah.
about.
Although
What
there's a
makes,
lot-
what makes the most sense for
There's
everybody?
there's a lot of opportunities for people to
Right.
to go around South Shore Boulevard that live there, where
Right.
it really wouldn't be that much
But
of an issue.
that's all part of
maybe.
it, and that's
okay.
it was the same discussion that they had on Lake Avenue when that one went one way, right?
Yes.
You had to talk about, do we want
Yep,
this?
yep.
How's it going to work? Same thing's going to happen here, only on around the other part of the lake.
Great.
Right.
Well, Mike, we're going to take a real brief break, and we'll be back in just a minute to look at further opportunities that this wonderful project is going to provide us. I have a quick announcement about some important chamber happenings. Don't forget to attend Market Fest that runs from this Thursday to the end of the month of July. Festivities that are being planned for downtown White Bear Lake are absolutely incredible. This is something that you're not going to want to miss, so bring yourself or your family to Market Fest starting mid-June, running through the end of July. With me is Mike Brooks, representing Ramsey County Lake Links Association. Mike, I want to continue on our conversation here with some venues about the Lake Links project. When you look at it, you say, okay, this is good for pedestrians, it's good for people that want to walk around the lake. From an economic development standpoint, and I want to include in that the showcasing our area
Right.
to maybe younger people, because White Bear and our surrounding area are growing older. So we want to have opportunities to encourage younger people to move into our area. Showcasing what can this do for business, and what can it do to make our communities more livable.
Right.
So those are three aspects that I want to go over with you.
Okay.
And I want to start with bringing our community in a period where we can bring younger people in. What will this trail do in that area?
Well, it's pretty documented that most of what you would call a younger generation, say
Okay.
more the 20-something, the young
Yep.
people who are going to be buying the homes and starting the families,
Yep.
you know, a lot of these people don't really want to own cars. A lot of them are really kind of not having, they're really only doing it because they have to. And this is where you're seeing a lot more people moving to the cities.
Yeah, to the central
Higher
cities.
density,
Yep, yep.
And we've talked before about, you know, self-driving cars, automation and things of this nature and stuff like Uber and all that. So what it's going to do is it's going to provide an alternative transportation conduit or ribbon that goes through the communities, that connects the communities, and is going to provide more opportunity for people to not have to use a car. So maybe
Right.
maybe a family can get away with one car instead of two cars. Kids will be able to go to school. You'll be able to walk downtown. I mean, not a lot of merchants have a drive-through. You got to go through the front door.
Right.
So it's better to have that kind of connectivity. And, you know, quite frankly, we're geared for it. We like to move under our own power. We like to stop on the street. We like to talk to people. And this is a relationship side of it. And I mean, that's commerce, right?
Right. Okay. We get into business areas, and we touched on that. Are there any examples or anything that you can bring up that shows that this type of a opportunity enhances businesses in an area? Like, are there any other places around the country that might show that?
You know, Tom, probably the biggest example I can give you is in Indianapolis. And Indianapolis put in place something called the Indy Cultural Trail. And
Okay.
it's not a very big trail. It's only about 8 miles of trails, but it's enormously well done. It infuses art from the community.
Real?
It makes
Okay.
connections through cultural areas. It's been used to revive more, you know, parts of town that weren't
Sure.
getting enough business. To give you an example, just flat numbers, it cost about $65 million to put this trail in.
Okay.
And almost immediately it had an economic impact of almost $1 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that big.
That's really incredible. And then obviously you brought up a lot of things about how this makes a community more livable, and it would enhance arts and anything else that you'd like to add to that.
Well, when you come into a community, if you drive into a community and you see people out, and they're walking, they're talking, they're biking, they're doing things, right? I think we tend to think of that as being a vibrant community.
Yes.
And it's a place that we want to visit. It's a place that we want to live in.
Yes.
That's what this is about, is when you put these trail systems in, whether it's for walking or biking, you really can address a majority of the issues that a community has in terms of its businesses, its schools, safety, but then also the personal side of health. If a person bikes a couple miles a couple times a week, like 3 times, you can drop your chance of getting diabetes and other illnesses drastically.
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
So we work on a variety of different levels when we talk about livability.
Yes.
We talk about an economic level, we talk about livability, getting around, knowing each other, but we also talk about health.
Okay, great. And getting back to the whole trail system, did you have to go through a process of getting approval or getting support from some of the communities that this trail would encompass?
Yeah, that's a good question. We actually, once we had approached Senator Chuck Weger. And
he's a senator from the area.
Yeah, he's on the other side of the lake in Washington County side more so. And we said, hey, look, could you get behind this? We had no idea he was going to suggest legislation. So when he did that, and then when Representative Peter Fisher from essentially the same districts over in Washington County came up with a companion bill, that was the rallying point. And then we were able to go to the different communities around the lake as far north as Hugo and say, hey, would you provide a resolution of support for this? And all the communities, Delwood, everybody was on board.
Great, great.
And that's the kind of a coalition. This is what I think a grassroots organization does.
Absolutely. Yep.
And Senator Weger was part of that 2001 project, and he said, look, because Lake Links is creating this grassroots push, that's what's going to make this thing get done. Because people looked at this almost 20 years ago, they had funding, it didn't happen, and we're at it again.
And it also will enhance people's opportunity to consider White Bear Lake to be a real centerpiece in our northern community here.
Get around all of them. We've got regional trails, we've got state trails. We're going to provide the connections to those different trails so the people in Stillwater can come over here, the people from St. Paul can come up here. You know about our USBR. When we can get this Vento Trail done, we're going to be pulling people in from all over the state.
So that you lead into my next question is, we talked about this trail being a centerpiece around White Bear Lake, kind of. What other opportunities might you look for that would expand the horizon of this trail to other communities? When
we talk about creating a focus in our region, we have natural assets in our lakes, correct?
Absolutely.
So we have Vadnais Lake, we've got Bald Eagle, we've got White Bear Lake. Vadnais, the city of Vadnais Heights is looking at trying to get a route or trail around Vadnais Lake. I know there's talk next year of an experiment to work on one side of Bald Eagle to try a one-way. Okay.
Sure.
And then we talk about White Bear Lake. Now, if we can get routes, trails, whatever you want to call them, around all of these lakes and connect them, we have a trifecta of lakes that becomes a sort of a grand rounds.
Yes.
So when you come into the area, if you can come in on a major spine like a Vento Trail, which branches off to these different things, I mean, that's a huge draw. That's a major draw.
So you're looking at something that would potentially encompass the whole northeast metro area.
We're all part of the same area. We all want to grow together.
And now you mentioned that you're part of this Ramsey County portion. There's also a Washington County group, right?
Yeah, the way that we set this up, Steve Ogamet is the Washington County chair of Lake Links, and I'm the Ramsey County chair of Lake Links, right? So
that's how it's done. Now, the money that was given by Senator Chuck Weger, they got through the bill and the bonding process in the House and the Senate. Is there going to be other, this money will be used to kind of do the engineering study. How about other resources that are going to have to go into this project moving forward? Do you see, what do you see happening along that line?
Well, once we get done with the preliminary engineering, those questions will start to come to the surface. We'll start to see, well, what else do we need to do as communities, as an area? Legislatively, next year, are we going to be able to go back to get additional funding to do X? I don't know. This is all part of a multi-step program, and we're at the very beginning of it.
So you're just looking at that, and this is
First
just the
step now.
start, the first step.
Right.
Yep,
Engage people in the area, see what they think. At our meetings, we've had probably 70, 80 people at every meeting. Oh, yeah. There are so many people that want to see this happen.
Wow.
It's absolutely amazing.
Well, now if somebody wants to get a hold of you or wants to connect with the Lake Links Association, how do they go about doing that?
Well, there's a couple of ways you can do it. Our website, mine, I can give mine, to the station. We can flash that up.
Yep.
And we can give you Steve's as well. Those would be the two probably prime ways to do it. And then, as I said before, I'll send you a link to the website and a map so people can see that.
Great. So, and now this would be a really good thing, and I think there'd be a lot of interest in this project. And thank you for coming, Mike, and for joining me today on Your Business Matters. I'm Tom Snell. Have a safe summer, and thank you for watching Your Business Matters.
You've been watching Your Business Matters. For more information on this program or the White Bear Area Chamber, visit whitebearchamber.com or call 651-429-8593.